Hey, how y'all doing?
Todd
I'm
loves
waiting for you,
Todd,
dude. What's going on?
I just was listening to the music because I love it so much, and I could just it just.
They
doesn't-
were looking at me like, you gonna say something?
I wasn't looking at them at
I'll
all.
say
Yeah,
something.
push start on that. I wasn't looking at all.
We're all
so,
helping him. He's doing the intro. I'm pressing the buttons over here.
Welcome, everybody. This is the
you
American
doing?
Car Classics radio program, and I'm Kenny Schofield, your host. And with me, as always, is Steve Charbonneau and Todd Byron. Mike Carano, who is usually on here with us, is not showing up for this event, but in his place and in his chair, we have you are the senior. You are a what?
Solaris Senior Living. We're an assisted living.
Yes.
And I'm the executive director.
And your name is Jackie Esterline.
You could do it.
I did good.
Pretty
And
good job.
Your title there is what?
Executive director
Executive Director of the Solaris Senior Living.
in Vero Beach.
Okay.
You're like the person.
Well, I've been working with Cameron and on the event that you have coming up that we're going to try and contribute some to, and so I have never met any of you, but we've been emailing and talking and stuff. And I asked her really late notice because my phone was broken. She was on vacation, and then Ian came through, and blah. So you were able to come in and do this, and very last minute. You've been sitting over here for a while, hanging out. You've brought Sunshine. This is the Solaris Senior Living Care dog.
Yeah, she's the mascot.
The mascot.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's kind of a shout out to Halo because that's where
Right.
she came from.
Right.
All
And,
right.
and
Go Halo.
We've got Ashley, my daughter's here, and we've got a cat or two at the house from Halo. Two. Yeah. So we are friends with all that. They're a no-kill shelter in Sebastian. We appreciate them very much. A friend of ours, Cindy Getz, who is Beauty on the Beach from Planet Vero days, has had Halo on a lot and does a lot with them and everything that they do for all the animals and stuff. So she's a beautiful little dog. What kind of dog is she?
They think she's a Pomeranian and a Chow. That's the thought.
I can almost
Definitely
see the
looks
chow
like that's a
something.
Pomeranian.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tongue color is what
the Chow.
leads you to the Chow.
Yeah,
But,
because that's a blue-purple something going on or something.
and she's just a sweetheart. She's good for the residents. I take her to work every day. She's just been a blessing to the facility and all the people inside. And
She wasn't my best friend when I met her. She kind of just I'm gonna hit you again, Todd. She's not well with the men yet. They're just a little slower to get to know them and what have you. But
because supposedly a male had done some not so nice things to her.
so she was abused and taken
Poor
to the
thing.
shelter and everything else. Well, she looks beautiful, and I think she's a pretty happy little dog. And you know we're talking about you by now, don't you?
Definitely looks happy.
Yeah, yeah. And she would love to run around on the farm some, I'm
I
sure.
really love animals.
Meet Kobe.
I mean, you can tell, huh?
Well, and he's got a big Rottweiler
Yeah.
named Kobe, and she's beautiful, and
She plays with the big dogs. She's
a lot of other stuff. She knows you that you're.
Yeah,
she
she's
can
looking
tell.
at me,
She give you
That's
love.
a good person right
I
there.
love that.
You got 30 sheep, 60 chickens,
60.
And
couple
growing.
donkeys. Yeah,
He's got so many
3
more
cats,
chickens. She walks in
1
with
dog.
boxes of
I probably
chickens.
got more than 60 chickens.
Listen, that's when I find a car and I go for a test drive.
So we have asked you to come out today to our dysfunction show here because this Solaris Senior Living Care is doing a Car and Taco Fest is what you publicized about. This is going to be Saturday, October 22nd. And as you heard from the other show that we're doing, there are other events going on that same day. But the classic car community is so big, and we're so happy to be coming out of summer that October, everything ramps up and gets going. So if you do another one, you'll get in with this, and maybe we can get a little bit more notice and stuff and pick a weekend where there's not other things and what. But we're trying to include a little bit of something gathering in the morning that we'll talk more about. But first of all, I want to know the history of the Living Center. The Solaris has been around.
It's been part of Vero for about, I want to say, 23 years. So we have not only assisted living, but we have memory care as well. So the whole crux of what we're doing is to raise money for the Alzheimer's and the Parkinson's Foundation.
Okay.
The seniors in Vero, we're home to quite a few right now. I mean, we right now we have over 100 residents that, like I said, range from folks that just need assistance to those that are having some issues with their memory.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice family home-like environment for our folks.
And when we talk about seniors needing help and care, it isn't the 80s, the 90s, and even the 100s. I mean, there are 60s and 70s
Oh my
in
goodness,
there.
yeah.
My mom is 90, and she just drove to New Jersey and got on a cruise ship for 9 days, and it's just amazing. But some aren't as lucky to have that kind of gene and get to keep it all for a while. So the age span really does, decades. And it's not necessarily something that's a killer, so they live with this.
And you know what? A lot of folks have a really good time. I mean, and it's not all about bingo. We have men in our facility.
I mean, that's what that's what we take it as right.
It's not. And we have men that have a group, their own little group. They're called the Rowdy Roosters, and they have a heck of a good time. They've gone to the air show, they go to breakfast, they've been to the Naval Museum, and it's a great bunch of guys. But
Love
it's a
that.
secret society. Only the guys can go. I've tried sneaking in; it doesn't work.
Okay.
It's the guys club.
There's a little
I love that. During COVID, which was a very, very hard time for them because they were separated from what family did get to come and see them. And even if they don't recognize a lot of them, sometimes it was the family members outside that couldn't get in to see their loved ones. So that was a big, big hardship. We got together as a group and we did several drive-throughs and stuff. And I'll take with me the memory that I always tell everybody was that we were at one here in Vero and a gentleman had the sign, do a burnout.
With the wheelchair and a water hose.
And a water hose.
Yeah.
And he would water the ground and say, do a burnout. And just made you really. But when we pulled into Pelican Landing here in Sebastian, this was a cul-de-sac for us to drive through. The families knew about the event, so they came and lined one side of the driveway, and they brought the residents, thank you, that were there, and they brought them out, and they were actually able to see each other for the first time in months.
Yeah.
So how'd
really
y'all cope with COVID?
Oh, it was, it's been tough because every now and then we have that, nasty little bugger creep up and, we have to quarantine a little bit and be very, very careful. But during that really harsh time, I mean, we were doing the parades and, people are coming to the windows and we have a beautiful out front patio area that's, enclosed. And so they could come out to that area and talk through the glass.
Yeah.
And we tried everything we could, and even the tablets with Zoom meetings with families and things like that. But it was a tough time.
Yeah, but we got creative. Everybody got creative and found a way to make it work and do. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. So this is your first time doing a car anything event?
At Solaris Vero, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've been in the industry for a while, and this is one of the things I had talked to Cameron about when she came on board as community outreach, and, she's really amazing at what she does. And I said, this is just my wish. I said, I've done it other places, and I said, now we're here in Vero, and we've got the great opportunity, great location. Let's do it.
Okay.
And so we put it together, and like I said, we're making the proceeds go to the Alzheimer's and Parkinson's Foundation Association. And I'm looking so forward to it. But like I said, Cameron's put some hard work into it. We've got some vendors that are going to come from the healthcare industry and, to be there to help sponsor and promote. We've got parking that's going to happen over at Vero Orthopedics. And if people can't make that walk, our van is going to go up and pick people up and help them down. So, everybody's excited. We've got trophies for the car show, which our residents are going to vote on.
Yep. This is Saturday, October 22nd from 11 to 1 p.m. And it says here on the flyer, suggested donation of $10 per person. You're not asking anybody to break the bank or do anything else.
No.
What you're saying is that there is going to be several food trucks, primarily of the taco era, where people can go, and for this donation they will get coupons for tacos, and there's going to be beverages and all that stuff, maybe some alcoholic beverages and some regular stuff. And this is parking up front for the classic cars that want to come. We get to hang out, be ourselves, and put together a good time for the residents to come out and check out the cars and live some of those days where they remember them and see them and hanging out. And the guys are nice enough and everybody's, kind of friendly that every once in a while you see a guy want to, really just looking at the car, the owner will come over and chat with him a bit and give him some fill-in and all that stuff. And it really does take them back and do. And we have, as you saw, John, earlier, the variety of cars that we have as guys are collecting from the 30s and on up and stuff. And it is a great thing. So it's only 2 hours. Not asking anybody to take up their whole day or anything. It's right in the middle of the day, but a good time for lunch. And I think everybody appreciates a good taco.
Yeah, I mean,
Come hungry.
Goes better with a car than taco.
A beer with
Some
that,
of those
right?
tacos, those food trucks are phenomenal.
I know, bro.
What we're wanting to do as the American Car Classics group is I'm trying to put together a little bit of something, and I'll give you a flyer, Jackie, to take with you to add into your stuff. But this is we're going to try to get everybody to pull together and have breakfast at CJ Cannon's over there off of Aviation Boulevard, and then if we can meet up there around 8:30 and eat, that we would go ahead and leave there about 10 and make a little parade down to your facility, and it's only 4 miles long, so it's not a big stretch for anybody. The weather should be great temperature-wise and all that we're hoping that nobody's going to have overheating issues or vapor locking issues or any of those things that happen to some cars. And then go and enjoy this for a couple of hours. So
it'll be great fun.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, and we hope that you'll do this again, and that it is a success for you to get some money together for all of it, and hopefully at the end of the day everybody benefits and all of that. So we want to be able to keep in touch with you as we go through this and get done with it, that hopefully Cameron and I will keep in touch, and then as you do something, maybe springtime or even just for the next year, and pick it, that we can make it a little bit bigger than what it is, because there are other events that go on and stuff, but I know I'll be out there and I'll try and bring as much as I can do, and we'll all have some fun.
It's going to be a busy day.
Talked about it today. Actually, we were talking about next year, and we said, this is the kickoff, and we definitely plan on keeping it on the calendar.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Thank you guys. I mean, we couldn't do it. It's just amazing how this all fell together, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Well, Cameron reached out to me. I guess she has an assistant that was pretty new and started and got in there, and I started asking some questions. She's like, can't. Here and quickly went back to Karen, but when she's more knowledgeable about all of it, she was able to fill in the blanks for me and stuff, and I have to ask a lot of details so we get in there and get some idea on what we're doing with whom and all that stuff. What else do you all do out there for within the community to bring the community to you? Do you do other events or anything else?
Right now, because COVID had everything so locked up for so long and people didn't want to socialize and everything, so in a way I kind of feel like we're sticking our neck out doing this because people are still kind of COVID shy.
Yep.
So right now this is our first big event, but we're on the path to continue doing some things with the community. It's we're in a great location. We've got, great residents that want to be participants in, doing fundraisers and community involvement. So this is the first, like I said, it's our kickoff after COVID, and we've got some other stuff we've talked about. Like I said, today we were talking about doing this next year, but we've got some stuff we're thinking about, but nothing definite at this point.
Okay.
It's hard because like all the marketing groups I used to go to and all that stuff back then, nothing's even started back up or anything. I think B&I is the only one that's really going, and everybody else, all the other ones, everybody's like, no, still got COVID going. Nobody wants to do nothing. So yeah, it's difficult, and it's definitely changed the way people look at stuff and the way they do stuff. And there's people that are like, it's finally over. Then there's still people that are really paranoid too. So it's tough. So
well, what is it out at Vegas that you go to that I talk about that I'm drawing a blank on? SEMA. Thank you. Even something like SEMA, huge. It suffered. It
did suffer,
yeah. Every event has, it doesn't matter what it was, even like the NASCAR, because they would only do certain seats, football games,
right.
It didn't matter what it was.
Well, you're seeing a lot of that stuff change right now.
Yeah, it's finally starting to go away.
Because of the scare of COVID isn't as pronounced as it was before.
Well, I love that the government has said that get ready for a heck of a flu season this year.
Yeah.
It was non-existent 2
so
years
it's come
ago.
back.
I know, it's an amazing thing sometimes. we joke politically on some things sometimes, everything else. So, listen, Jackie, I do appreciate you coming out and giving us some insight as to what goes on in your world there. I love what you do, and somebody's got to be there for somebody. And when they can't take care of themselves and family isn't local, everything else, it does come down to somebody that's, you're getting paid for a job, but there's got to be a lot more to it than that, and you've got to love what you do.
Yeah, my crew, I know all of us. I've been in the business for probably getting close to 30 years now. And I got to tell you, I wish I was in it longer because once I got into it, it's what I should have always been doing. Had, involvement taking care of my parents and things. And it's just the right thing to do. I mean, it's just the right thing to do. And
Awesome.
It's a great group of people.
All right, Jackie from the Solaris Senior Living facility here in Vero Beach. We do appreciate it. And Saturday, October 22nd, we'll see you all there. Pull that down a little bit.
Tacos.
All right. All right, welcome back, everybody. I am Kenneth Schofield. With me is Steve Charbonnet and Todd Byron, and that chair is empty for right now, but we are the American Car Classics radio program, so thank you for tuning in, joining us, and all the other stuff that we talked about. Man? I do want to say that Phil pushes me all the time to say, if you're watching us, I want you to like us, comment, make comments. This guy is not just sitting here with a pretty face. He's got a lot of better things to be doing. Make a comment about him. Subscribe. Yeah, people, they clamor to find the what were you called? The legend, Todd Byron. Woo! That is we're going to have to get you a Stetson hat now. If you're a legend, I have to get you a Stetson hat.
Everybody that knows me, like Erin tells me all the time, she's like, I hate going out with you because everywhere you go, hey, Steve, you can't go anywhere. We went to the car show with Todd. She's like, holy cow.
Right.
I don't feel as bad.
Right.
With you.
If
I
she
said,
was
I hung out
Julie.
with Todd for 2.5 hours, and I was like, he knows everybody in God's creation and more.
Yeah. They come from miles. When I met Todd, you were doing that green Ferrari. That was like a 72?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say how much you said you got paid to paint the car, but holy crap. And I was bummed, but it was in the shop for a while, right?
Yeah. It took over a year.
Is that it? I saw on
look,
I saw on a restoration show that a guy, they started a car it was a Bring a Trailer, and the restoration started in 2002, and in 2016 or something it was done or whatever, and that's longer than COVID and sitting there and everything else. I mean, there had to have been a shop like Dolphin Auto that just sat your car in the back seat and forgot about you for a while due to life.
I got your car? Which car are you talking about? I ain't got no car here that match your description.
Yeah.
I had Josh Presley come out today, and we've had his 88 Camaro for almost 4 years. This came in as a 2.8 liter, and we've got a 400 horsepower small block in it. But then it was do the fuel tank, and then do some body work, and then he ran out of money, and then I ran out of employees, and then it got sat on the back burner, and they pulled it back in. Yeah, and I pulled it back in and asked somebody, hey, let's put the starter on, get that part done, get the drive belt system done, and one of the bolts in the starter, somebody stripped it, and so now I've got to drill it and helicoil it, and all that crazy stuff. So
black and silver.
That's the black and silver, yeah. That's the one that's been sitting in the front,
black
right?
and silver?
Still on jack stands. Well, it's got some primer on it now and what have you else and stuff. But it is what it is. So no, we it does happen a lot that the cars sit and stuff and what have you. So look, so the last show that we just did, we did talk with Mike Carano, and we revealed the losers and the winner of the Bring a Trailer little thing that we do on a game or segment or whatever. But
let's get Mike on the phone.
I do.
I got him on speed dial. Where's my phone?
We do need to work on that.
Yeah.
We're going to getting phones and stuff right now, so we're going to be making that happen and stuff. Well, then we're going to be doing that next. You give me whatever I need to buy on that one, and I will too. And but I saw two other cars that I thought that we would write down, and I do need to get Mike back on there so he can get his take on this. The first one is it's a 1987 Buick Grand National, 23,000 original shown miles.
He's rubbing it in, you know that, right?
This is a turbocharged 3.8 liter V6. I can't really hear Phil too much. He almost should put the headphones on because let him have the headphones there real quick, actually, because Phil, for some reason, likes Buicks. I don't
Just
understand.
the Grand National, and I'm with Steve. I think you're doing this on purpose.
They catch my eye. And you know what's is great is that Bring a Trailer got noticed. They got put on the map because they had a Grand National go through that sold for $125. And it kind of like 2 years ago, and it put them on the map because everybody kind of heard and whatever. But they had it, and boom, and they're like, holy shit, they're legit.
Yeah, you need Todd Byron money to get one of those these days.
Where you come up with that,
Listen, man, this guy.
I have no money for lunch today.
He asked me, could he borrow a nickel? And I pulled out a wooden one. He's took it. He's not shy, right?
Might get cold tonight. Might need some firewood.
Do we have a marker over there? If they all disappeared through everything because we had Bryce, if you'll go look over on that table over there, I might
Where's
find
the location of this car?
These are the kind of things you need to ask for in advance.
Yeah, but the hurricane came, and then we didn't do a show, and then we kind of got moved.
Let's go with that.
The hurricane. There was something around, and a what?
Pompano Beach, Florida.
Oh, it's a
know
Florida
this car,
car.
dude.
Do you?
I sure do.
Is this?
Can we scratch for that?
This is
it
the
might
car
be.
that, huh?
Was that Bose?
That's got to be Bo's car, bro.
Thank you, Bryce.
He did sell it.
He did. And it only had
It's a paint
21,000 miles or something on it.
23.
It's got a Todd Byer paint job. It's going for $100K.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Did you paint this car?
No.
Okay.
Paint the car? No.
How many original miles did we say?
23,000.
That's insane.
In 87. Yes, sir. You take that from me.
I drove more miles this year on my car than that.
You're driving entirely too much, young man.
He's been hitting everything in sight too, man.
Yeah, that is no lie.
No.
Keeping Dolphin Auto in business.
So we're gonna get Mike to chime in on this. I'll get him to do a little bit later, but and I'll tell you, I blacked this out. I'll tell you just so you know, for S's and G's, the current bid was $31,700, but it doesn't mean squat because
As of right now.
Yeah,
It's not
It's
sold
2 days.
yet?
No. It's got 2 days left on it, but we know from history that this number will stay low until close to the end.
The last day.
Yeah, and all of a sudden,
You might see a little bit of jumping around.
I've been watching them though. This auction, it's fun to watch because it is within the last day or a few hours that people are getting in there, and Steve has jumped right in there. And
This has to be easy using $2,000 of me, so I went first, so I got mine on there.
$65K. Steve is jumping there at $65K. I'm gonna jump it up, man. I got my butt handed to me with that. Was it a Buick?
Oldsmobile.
It was an Oldsmobile, the Olds 442. I got my butt handed to me for, if you didn't see the previous show, we had a Olds Cutlass 442 71 model, I think it was, but it was a W30, and it brought $160,000. It was a convertible. It was a 455, but $160,000. Unbelievable. So I'm gonna jump up here and say 102.
These cars are the same way. Some of these cars don't pull a whole lot of money if they're repaints because some of the repaints ain't good. If it's original paint and prestige, that car could pull $100K.
Yeah,
It could.
What are you gonna throw your old TB in there on him?
They just had a GNX go through eBay for $395.
You know, I bet we could do tic-tac-toe. 78 large. All right, man. So we're gonna bring Mike into this and ask him on that one. The next one I've got is different car, man.
Wow, I wanted low on that one.
What does it say that is?
I should have bought that
This is a
one.
1960
Plymouth? Man, mosquitoes are like crazy,
Take a look at that
bro.
sucker right there, man. This, as I read this, and you can give that to Steve
Pontiac.
over there. This is a 1960 Pontiac Laurentine.
Catalina.
A sport coupe powered by a 5.7-liter LS1 V8 mated with a 4-speed automatic, probably not Tremec then, probably a 4L60.
37,000 miles.
Yeah, as it's finished in burgundy and silver. Vinyl interior equipped includes power steering, power windows, power disc brakes, aluminum 706 heads, hooker headers, Spall electric radio fan,
LS1.
dual exhaust. We'd hope dual exhaust. Walker mufflers. Why would they go with Walkers?
Quiet.
Yeah, that's a shame. And 20-inch wheels. Good looking car. Here's the back picture of it. And being a Pontiac, Steve, we're right back into that market with.
Yeah.
You just don't know on a given day. This is why I didn't pull into the Chevys and just get boom right there on the Fords or whatever, the Fairlane and stuff, because, you know, it's kind of almost, you know, an easier bet. This one makes it a little bit different, but it's a good-looking car, but it's going to take that buyer. I'll guarantee you at a car show, you're only going to see that one. You're only going to see that. Is that a 0?
Yeah.
That's a 0. So
I mean business, bro.
now I want you to note that I didn't change your number. I just wrote it a little bit. Okay. So Yeah, I saw a bag. I thought it was another dog walking through, a peacock or something.
Sheep.
Yeah. It's a sheep. We got problems.
What do you see? Yeah, well, that one was standing on its hind legs there and stuff. So what do you think there, man? It's a 1960, which really, man, you don't.
I don't think it's a highly sought after car.
And it's not, but it does look good and clean. But that is going to take half the room right out of even looking at it.
What's got an LS?
That's not a bad thing, man. I mean, I think that brings it back up the value and stuff because
got a sniper on it.
People are wanting this this LS combination with it. 20-inch wheels, Rusto mod. They look like they're at least 10-inch in the back. It looks like at least a 10-inch in the back. So it's probably got a mini tub in it. It's sitting pretty low in the well, and it looks good. I like the grill lines that pull all the way across the front. It's very attractive to me. No tinted windows. Still got that large 17-inch steering wheel.
Yeah.
Man, I hated those knuckle busters.
I liked them.
I got a nice Chevelle in the shop now.
Did you?
Sniper on it.
Because you just hang off them. You know what I'm saying? You could kick the seat all the way back.
All right, let me get in here and jump in. I'm gonna.
Then your hands fall asleep.
Man,
luxury.
I'm gonna bust it down and do 45.
Bust it down.
I don't really know. I almost think I'm just gonna go 40 because I really just
I'm hoping somebody really wants that car.
Yeah. Yes, sir. All right, so that's pretty cool. We'll find out what happens with that stuff too. And I'm still blown away by that Olds 442 because that just was a shocker to me. when I
convertible W30.
Yeah, bro.
So what do you got in the shop that's a Chevelle? What do you got?
I got a 71.
Yep.
True 454 car, 4-speed. Todd got a sniper on it.
Yeah. That was a sniper changeover a while back.
And it runs healthy?
Yeah, it runs good. He's probably going to sell it. Right? Ain't that what he's telling you? He had told me before. He owned the 69 Camaro that Byron bought.
Oh, okay.
The red and black stripe one.
Okay.
Yeah, Byron bought that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a nice dude. He's funny. I met him at my old shop.
Yeah.
And he come rolling up behind me. He's like, "Hey!" And I got my door panels off my 69. I'm sound denting in the car. And he's like, "You work on old cars?" I said, "Absolutely not."
Yeah.
And he just looked at me and says, "You sure?" I said, "Positive. No. I don't work on old cars." And he just laughed. And he's like, "That's not what I heard." I said, "Well, don't believe everything you heard because was it on the internet?" And he just busted out laughing.
He probably knew Grandel and everybody else that goes around that knows you and everything else too. So Vero's a pretty big town, but it's actually pretty small and tight-knit with the car community. Yeah. You've got to love that. And your transition, Steve, again, had to have been very natural and easy because it's already such a good vibe there, and there's such great people that work there and come through and do everything else. So I'm just tickled pink for you and everything else with it. All right, so listen, we're going to play a little music, and we're going to jump out of here and close this segment out, and we'll be back here in just a couple of seconds and get into another story for you. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is American Car Classics radio program, and I am Kenny Schofield. With me, Steve Charbonneau, Todd Byron.
I'm Todd Byron.
And some very healthy mosquitoes.
I'm here with Kenny Schofield.
You are. And who else?
And Steve Charbonneau.
If we got him some helium.
And these guys are getting carried away with these vulture mosquitoes.
We have to bring
vulture mosquitoes.
Hey, we'll have to bring Dean out here one night. You want to see some funny stuff?
Give me a squirt bottle.
You guys abuse him. Dean is a good kid. At least he was. He was before. Now he's not hanging out with Houdini or anything yet, is he?
No.
Because he's young and impressionable.
Totally different guys.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, he loves coming to work every day. That kid is excited to come to work every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He just never knows what's going to happen and what we got planned for him.
Yeah. That's funny.
All right, let's jump in here some tech talk. See if I can pull out a question that makes some sense to somebody. One of them I'm going to read that we would know because we did a show on it that didn't get aired due to some technical difficulties. But I brought that question back out because it was interesting, at least. So Hey, guys, good afternoon to you. All my car sounds great and looks pretty good, too.
Awesome.
She's a 71 Duster with a 318 5.2 liter and a 727 automatic transmission. As I said, my car sounds good, but it doesn't seem to have a lot of power. I know I can go buy a camshaft. That would do a lot for me. How much do aluminum heads make a difference over cast heads? Because they aren't very cheap, he says, but they sure do look good. His name is Woody Frakes. He did not say where he was from, but Woody wrote in and asked the question. His big question is aluminum cylinder heads. Is there a big difference in that? Tell me what your opinions are.
There's a big difference in any kind of head.
Yeah.
But, you can have an aluminum head, but if it doesn't have the right CC or the right airflow and all that stuff and CFMs that flows,
proper cam with it.
it all has to match.
Right. Yeah. So if you're going to, you can do heads without taking a camshaft out. So if you've already got a cam and whatever, you certainly, when you're buying the heads, you want to let whoever you're buying them from what you're already running.
Yep.
And what kind of compression you're looking for.
That's right.
So compression matters a lot with what you're going to get out of a car.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like having a size 12 foot, putting it in a size 8 shoe. Get what I'm saying?
No.
I guess that didn't.
How does a 12 get it? You put an 8 into a 12 and have very low compression because you got so much extra room in there.
I didn't get to do vice versa one.
Right, where you're stuffing it. Compression's so much 13 to 1. And
yeah,
right.
You could have a size 12 shoe and a size 7 foot and have all kinds of room.
So you can build aluminum heads as much as you can build a cast iron head. What you gain is you get 80 pounds or better.
Yeah.
Off the front end of your car.
There's more. I think there's more options with aluminum heads than there is.
Yep.
You have more
ability to control your CC and all that. And when we talk about CC, that is cubic centimeters, and that is how much space is in between a piston at full top dead center, and then what is inside the chamber left, which is if you've got a domed or dish piston. But if you're domed and then you've got a small CC chambered head, your compression is going to be through the roof. 12.5 to 1, 13 to 1. You're now going to be on pump gas.
You ain't going to run on pump gas.
Right.
No.
And then that changes your whole game. So if you want, and I know this turns you on because you don't know crap about what we're saying, Phil, but if you want to have a daily street driver, then you need a 10.5 to 1 motor, maybe something. And
that's kind of even high, too.
Is it really? Yeah, because you're still kind of getting 9.5. All right. So as you go into this, Woody, try to find somebody that's got information for you that
always ran 10.5.
And I know you do.
And you run good for you on pump gas? Well, like that, my 572 is a 9.5 to 1.
Really?
Yep. And it depends on the premium pump gas how it runs. I mean, so I always think, well, hell, if you got something any higher than that,
11 to 1, you'd be running gas all day long or something.
He's got 10.5 to 1. He has no problem. I don't know. I just see
timing me
10.5 to 1 on a small block, right? Yep. So
it's
the
like
RPM's
10,
a little
8.5
different
is what the compression ratio is on the orange car.
Okay.
But if you don't put, I noticed the difference just from going from 93 to 91. You'll notice the difference when you shut it off.
Yeah.
Because of diesels.
Yeah.
Yeah, pings, right.
When you get over the 7,500 RPM mark with 91 and it doesn't like it.
The one guy from Roadkill Garage, they do this engine dyno show, and they sit down. They do all these different. Man, they'll change just the smallest just to see where the curve is at as far as torque and horsepower and where it starts to drop off and can they build any more out of it. And they did a big block test on some heads and stuff the other day on some manifolds, intake manifolds and then risers and what. And it was really, the amount of gain is so minute. But they did a show where they ran it on all sorts of different octanes, and it really made no difference in building horsepower. Even avgas didn't really gain a lot of torque or horsepower.
Well, it's not so much that you're gaining torque or horsepower off from a different type of octane of fuel. You're gaining response.
Absolutely, because the detonation factor it's going to street better.
Exactly.
It's faster, cleaner to ignite.
Yeah,
that's right.
So a response could be much greater.
Yeah.
And overall engine. So when I say performance, I don't mean horsepower. I mean just you can tell.
Like what we call streetability.
Yeah, you can tell.
The smoothness, the way it runs, how the RPMs climb faster, stuff like that. You feel a total different. It just runs better. You can feel the harmonics in the motor working better.
Yeah, it's much smoother.
Because my car runs great on 93, 91. You'll notice a little at an idle. You'll feel it a little. It's more lopey or rougher.
Yeah, right.
And then the one time I made it out to the airport and put some fuel in it, that thing loved it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
it just runs cleaner.
Yeah, man.
So we hope we help you with that one, Woody. But there is a lot more to it than just that. You've really got to do your homework on it.
Do your research. Find out what your compression ratio is. Find out what your RPM is made, and then match your heads to the RPMs.
Okay. So next one here. Tech Talk is a good local source for good information. Now, this is one I read that came in a couple weeks ago. And I did read it on the show that didn't go out. So I'm going to read this. And we had some discussion, I think, on this. Maybe Steve wasn't even here for that. I'm not really sure. But Tech Talk is a good local source for good information. What I mean by that is that I appreciate you guys are car guys, mechanics, bodymen, shop owners, club president. He's talking about Mike. And that's all very cool. I just don't know if it qualifies you all to be giving diagnostic advice. So what I did was I went to a couple of forums and repair structured websites looking at what other people have said to others, comparing their answers to questions that you all have been reading similar to what we were finding on the forums. And you know what? He said, you guys are pretty good. Right on point for most everything he found, which I'm glad to know that we held up the curve on the internet, because that thing doesn't lie to you.
Yeah, I was like, damn, 39 years, I hope I learned something.
30, yeah, right.
We sure didn't get where we are. We're looking good, right?
So he says, so hello, my name is Pete. He waits till after then to see if he's going to get it read. I drive a 1989 Corvette. It's not much of a car, but it is a classic, LOL.
And it's yours.
And it is his. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So the people want to sell So I bought it last November. Couldn't really test the AC system much. But this summer, I have an overheating issue. I am not a mechanic by trade, but I can do some things myself. I leave everything else to the pros. I have replaced the water pump, thermostat, and radiator. The coolant wasn't in bad shape when I bought it. My local mechanic is stumped as well. So if you can help work out some problems with, or if you can help work the magic that you all do, I would really appreciate it. Pete Novak, Palm Beach, Florida. So my thing was, when I went into this, was I said that I question if somebody's been in there, that the car is older, that you've got to check all of your air funneling plastics. A Corvette radiator lays in at a 45-degree angle or better, and airflow is not just coming through the big grill. Yep. On a flat radiator that's just hitting it. It's directed by a lot of plastics. And if somebody has taken out some of the foam strips that insulate next to the radiator or whatever, and you're not getting that air funneled right into the radiator, that could be an overheating issue with you.
Or if someone don't put all the parts back in.
Yep.
And that happens too.
Or if
people break the plastic and don't put it back in.
Or do you have a coolant restriction flow? Something blocking your coolant.
Right. Just because the coolant looks good doesn't mean that somebody down the road didn't have a bunch of sediment in the bottom of it. He said he did a radiator and he did a thermostat and a water pump. But Steve led into the point where the block could be sitting there with a lot of sediment in the bottom of that, and you're not getting.
These cars are notorious for the coolant temp sending units to be 10 to 20 degrees off with the instrument cluster. I was here and we talked about this car because I just diagnosed one of these at the other shop. We talked about this.
Okay. And here again, I'm going to say there are coolant products out there. I sell a brand called Coolant.
Be Cool.
That
wet water.
Wet water. This gives you this will drop your temperature about 10 degrees on an average car, and I use it in Lucy and everything else too. So
the ice works really good too.
We appreciate that. Yeah. Look, this is going to be the end of our show. It's not a full hour or anything else, but we had planned on doing a second show, and this was it. And so we do appreciate everybody coming and joining us. And everybody, please do like it, leave a comment, subscribe to us, share it. Say hello to somebody. We're the American Car Classics Radio program.
Shake and bake.
See ya.